I started our business in 2007, I guess. And I think it was for 9 straight years, the revenue each year was greater than it was the previous year. And for me, something happened when I just had that many years of consistent growth and seeing the numbers go up and seeing more traffic and more income year after year after year. What it did to me, and I've talked to enough friends, and I know I'm not alone in this, that it gets you on a pattern of just thinking that A, you're smarter than you are when it just happens to be the wind's at your back, and B, that everything you touch turns to gold, and you have no concept for when things aren't going well and when they're failing. And so once I reached that point, about 9 years in, I guess it was, somewhere in there, when things just leveled off, like it was, I was depressed and struggling with plateauing, even though they'd plateaued on a fantastic level. And then things began going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. And that leads me to the point of what I'm talking about today. And I'll just go ahead and share this if you are able to watch this on YouTube. This is a journal entry that I made on November 1st of 2018. And I'll just go ahead and read it to you if you're listening. But basically it says this: I hit a new low with the business today. On our earnings spreadsheet, and just for a little context here, I keep track of monthly earnings and expenses. And it says on the earnings spreadsheet, I just realized that a couple columns weren't being subtracted. So our earnings the last few months have actually been considerably worse than I had thought, which at this point, they were already pretty bad. And it said on top of that, this computer is going so slow, it's making it difficult to edit videos. And I'm remembering what was going on with that machine. It was it was like there was a little devil inside of it. And I remember like being on the phone with Apple support and just hours and hours of wasted time, like trying to get it. Like we could not figure it out. I'm fairly tech savvy, but like it ended up just being such a nightmare of a thing. Like, and again, it just feels like it was a slow computer, but man, sometimes these things just become really, really big things. And so we were trying to do I couldn't even do my job. That's what it came down to. I had this machine, I couldn't do my job. And then I go on to write. I can't imagine spending $1,000 on a computer right now. Like things were that tight. They were that rough of a spot that it's like I couldn't spend the money to fix or to replace it, So I continue. It says on top of that, I have no idea what to do. I feel more helpless and clueless than I ever have with the business. We spent $20,000 last month and brought in about $11,000. I know God didn't lead me out here to shrivel up, but I have no idea how we get out of this. Only a miracle. And so the reason I'm sharing this is because I was just going back through this journal, and man, there's something powerful about going through your past journals. And I just want to remind you today that He's faithful. I ended that journal entry in desperation, and I was completely convinced that my only way out was God providing a miracle. And that was true. Like it was just a bad situation. And it was the first time I ever thought, man, I don't know that we're going to make it. And I need to go start looking for another job or something. Like this just isn't going to work out. But what's so good about it is since that point, we've seen God. We watched Him do so many miracles. And I, again, continue to read through some of those old journals. And I read through 3 years worth of journals. And I saw God's hand of faithfulness in my life in a way that I'd never seen before. There's something about us being in the day-to-day and having our head down and not being able to see the full picture. But yet when we step back and being able to read through a journal. And so for me, I'm not a very consistent journaler. So I pretty much only journal when I feel like I have something significant. And so it might only be 20 or 30 entries in a year. And so it makes it a little bit easier for me to read through a few years at a time. But man, that was such a powerful experience for me because I was able to see God writing this story and weaving all these pieces together in a way that I'd never seen before, and I've talked about this before, but like when we read the Bible, like it is a highlight reel of things that are happening. And there's so many normal days that were not written about, and honestly, years and years of just getting up, doing it over again, doing it, like just living life, doing the thing. And then something happens, like, Jesus feeds the 5,000. It's like, whoa, what the heck, But the point is, there's so many normal days kind of wrapped up in there that we don't hear about. And I think when we look at our lives from a higher level, which is what the journal does for me, because I only have those highlights in there, or those lowlights in this case, it allows me and us to be able to see a more accurate picture of what God is doing, rather than, it allows us to see the forest from the trees, So anyway, I'm sharing this because I want to remind you, if you are in a situation where you're like, I don't know how we get out of this, or I don't know, I'm not even seeing God move in my life right now. I can assure you that he is. You can know without a shadow of a doubt that he is actively working in your life right now, in the mess, in the confusion, in the pain, in the struggle. Even when your faith has worn thin, he is still there. He's still fighting for you. And if in your desperation, you just keep going, you keep placing your trust into his faithful hands, you are going to make it to the other side. Galatians 6:9 reminds us that, encourages us not to grow weary in well-doing, for in due time we will reap if we faint not. And what's so cool about this, what I think so great about it, is it isn't you and I who get the glory, but it's God who gets the glory. It's not our best friend's advice who we called. It's not the self-help book we read. It's nothing. It's not the government. It's God who gets the glory. And I think what's so powerful about that is that's the way it's supposed to be. We are designed to be dependent on him. We are designed to need him to show up in our lives to do a miracle. And when we live a life that way, that's the most fulfilling, wonderful, powerful life that we could ever actually live. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to share that as a little bit of encouragement. And you can know that Linda and I and our team, we are praying for you actively. You're part of our community, and so even though maybe we haven't met face to face, know that we are in your corner praying for you and your financial life on a regular basis. So I just thank you for being part of the SeedTime family, and I'm excited to hear what God does in your financial life. I'm excited to hear when you get to the other side of whatever that, all-time low is for you.
This is what Sarah had to say about our book, Simple Money, Rich Life.
See this book? Go buy it. Simple Money, Rich Life. Please go buy it. I am 3 chapters in, you guys, and I am mind blown. I'm not kidding you. Go and get this book. I love it so much. I'm almost in tears over here, you guys.
And did you know that you can get a copy for free?
You can get it on Amazon, but we so believe that the church needs this message that if you can cover shipping, we'd love to cover the cost of the book and send you a free copy.
All you need to do is go to seedtime.com/free to get yours.